broadcasting and streaming live all across America. This is Home Talk USA with Michael King, where we will discuss topics pertaining to your home with industry-leading experts. Michael King is a licensed general contractor with more than 30 years of experience in home improvements and the author of Contracting with the King. Join us this hour for our segment Invent America with your co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton. Discover what's next in the home improvement industry and explore new products and innovations. Or if you have that next great big idea, learn what it takes to bring your invention to the world. As Michael King and Rita Crompton talk to America's inventors and innovators. Remember, the America of tomorrow is being invented today. We invite you to visit us at HomeTalkUSA.com, one of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, we proudly present Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country, Home Talk USA, with your host, the Cajun contractor, Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Yahee! Welcome to the Invent America show. This is your host, the Cajun contractor, Michael King. We don't have the Inventor Lady herself today. As you know, if you was listening to the first hour, the Inventor Lady herself is having some serious problems with the hurricane aftermath. Rita actually lives in the mountains of Tennessee and North Carolina, and she's experienced flooding down at the bottom, no electricity, so she's stuck on that mountain. But she's in our thoughts and prayers. And also, we want to, again, if you was listening to the first hour, giving all our prayers, and I don't know what else to say, to the problem that we are having. But Greg is going to fill in for that first segment, and we're going to have Kit on the line. So we're just going to have we're going to get by this. And I'd like to welcome the Made in America guy himself, Mr. Greg Owens. How you doing, Mr. Greg?
Hello, Michael. Glad to be here. Doing great. How are you?
Well, I tell you, a lot going on this hour. The devastating hurricane. They're up to 100 lives now. Joe Sparrow, my producer in Tampa, 3 foot of water in his house, so he's underwater. Rita's stuck on the mountain. It's I remember this when Hurricane Katrina. It took me 2 years to get home, and I know what they. That saying, you don't know what they feel. I know what they're feeling. But we're American. We're going to stand together, and hey, look, we're going to rebuild. You can't replace life, but you can replace property, right, Greg?
Right, and our thoughts and prayers certainly go out to Rita, her family, and all of those who have been affected by this, who have lost loved ones. My parents live down in Fort Myers, Florida, so they've been through a couple of these things. It's absolutely horrendous. And like you were saying on your last episode, when the authorities say get out, please get out, because one time my parents didn't do that, and that was the one and only time they didn't heed that call.
Well, again, you're right. But Greg, a lot going on. Give us an update with Made in America, a little bit about your show. That's going to be in the next hour. What can we expect?
Yeah, I mean, we started the Made in America hour talking about a bunch of different topics, all related to American manufacturing and how to buy American-made products. Where do you actually find them these days? Because that can be a challenge. We talked to the people who are actually still doing manufacturing in the United States and get a read on their experiences. We've talked to authors of books. Why is this so important to our country and to our economy? And then we talked to policymakers who are working on issues like the de minimis issue, which many of the listeners out there may not even know what this is. But it's now, after 5 years of howling into the wind, it's finally the hot topic down in D.C., getting rid of these cheap imports from Temu and Shein and people circumventing duties that they should be paying. And we're going to get into kind of a heavy topic in the next hour. It involves industrial policy. And one of the authors of a book that is about to come out on industrial policy for the United States Ian Fletcher is going to be joining me. He co-authored the book, and I'm going to flip open here and read a passage from just the beginning. It's a quote. It says, "The general reader will have to make up his mind whether he wants simple answers to his question or useful ones. As in this and other economic matters, he cannot have both." And I think the important takeaway from this is this is not a hard book to read. You don't need a PhD in economics, but it's a complicated subject, and it's not something that you can put on a bumper sticker or a one-liner in a political conversation and really both understand it and get your point across. These are deep subjects, and that's what we try and do. We try and do a deep dive into these things to really bring people up to speed on the depth and the reality of.
It's all about education and information, and that's what we're trying to do in the Made America. You heard my first guest, Aztec Washer, a great American company since 1968, providing excellent manufacturing here in the United States. And you heard me say that, unfortunately, you have to have raw materials. Like you, Greg, Sherrill Manufacturing. You have to have the raw materials. And I know y'all doing whatever y'all can to get the raw materials here in the U.S., but at the end of the day, you have to import raw materials to make your product. So what I'm trying to say is you're trying to provide all that education is to bring the company back, but make sure that the American consumer knows that it's more than just manufacturing here. You have to have the raw materials to manufacture.
Yeah, and in our particular case, we're very fortunate in that the only raw material we have is stainless steel, and we buy all that here in the United States. I really have a lot of empathy for my brothers in arms. Let's say there's somebody wanting to make a toaster made in the United States. Well, there's certain raw material inputs that they are no longer made here. We need to fix that. And one of the ways of fixing that could be industrial policy. Part of that is tariffs. Allowing these industries that have been wiped out by bad trade policy over 30 years, and it's not a political thing, it's both sides of the aisle are responsible for this, but allowing those industries to build back so that we can find our raw material inputs here in the United States, and that we can make whatever widget it is we're making with 100% American content. And that's what we're working towards.
And I think what we need to do is incorporate that in our show too, to let people understand that it's a whole process. It's a whole build. I call it the building envelope because I'm a contractor. That's the term I use, a building envelope. And it's all the steps it takes to put a great American product. And that's what Made America is doing. It's the educational, the political, educational laws, the process. It's just massive because these issues have never been addressed. That's the point. That's not a radio show out there has ever addressed these issues.
Well, and through my years of experience meeting different people and networking in the Made in America space, I've met an awful lot of companies that make an awful lot of things here in the United States. And I would encourage anybody out there that's listening to the Invent America segment or your segment, Michael, that's trying to drive more and more domestic content into their products, or they're looking for someone who can manufacture here as opposed to overseas, give us a call. Let us know, and we will pull together our network of people and help you find a source.
Well, HomeTalkUSA is established. It's the end product. It's the manufacturers that's been doing business manufacturing here in the U.S. for whatever, 50 years, 60 years. And then it's the Invent America to help the new inventors, give them a blueprint to get the product to market. And then there's Made in America, which is segueing into that to promote American-made companies. Because without American-made companies, we don't have no infrastructure. We have no education. We have no a taxable municipality. I can go on and on and on here. And I'm starting to sound like my friend Sean Hannity now. But at the end of the day, it's all related. And the point is, you can look at the quality of life of your city itself that you manufacture, Sherrill Manufacturing, and the quality of your life and the tax rate you're providing. It all works together,
It all works together, and unfortunately, it headed in the wrong direction for a couple decades, and now we're starting to get it back.
Well, I took a lot of bullets, and we're going to do a show on that in the past on this, and you know my history on that. And I'm still here. They're all bankrupt and they're gone, but I'm still here. Yeah. But hey guys, give us that website. How can we learn more about the Made in America show and the Tune Into You in about an hour?
Well, I started a website called madeinamercaguy.com, and you can, of course, reach us through HomeTalk, the HomeTalk website, and listen to us on the radio every week. We'll have a new show for you.
All right, good. Made in America, top of the hour, not top of the hour, hour number 3. Gotta run. We're going to have Kat. We're going to be talking to Kat. We're going to be talking the Invent America show, talking about Rita, her trials and tribulations, what's going on. This is Home Talk USA. Yahoo! Welcome back to Home Talk USA. This is the Invent America show. No, I'm not the Inventor Lady herself, Miss Rita Crompton, but we have to take care of some business. Don't forget that this segment of the show is sponsored by Impeccable Air, the leaders of home air ventilation. If you want to improve the quality of air in your home, think Impeccable Air, impeccableair.com. And now I'd like to welcome the show. We have a substitution right now. We have Miss Kat Crompton, the daughter of the Inventor Lady herself, and we're going to bring on Mr. Aaron Ferreira to talk about the ant tool. But Kat, before the opening of the show, all my oh man, I can't even go into it of what your mother's experienced. The Inventor Lady sitting on top of that mountain, flooded area everywhere, no power. But hey, she's a trooper, right, Kat? So give us an update. What's going on, Kat?
She's doing okay. They have a generator. They do have to turn it off occasionally, but they do have some power, limited power. They are on water from a well, so they do have water. The problems are that where they are at on the mountain is pretty much only accessible through one road, and that road is completely impassable. So she cannot get out. Nobody can get in. The first step will have to be the bridges leading to that road are going to need to be inspected and cleared. Then the road will have to be cleared of all the debris and repaired. And then they will finally be able to get utility trucks in there to hopefully restore the power and the internet. So she's just kind of in a holding pattern. We do have some close personal friends that live nearby, and they have said as soon as they can find a route with all the roads open, they will get to her and make sure they're doing okay. So I have spoken to her several times. She has to climb the mountain and use her neighbors at the top of the mountain, their service. So very, very limited options on speaking to her right now.
Well, I need to tell my audience about Kat Crompton. She is, I know your mother, I have Joe Sparrow. I have all the producers and all the people behind the scenes that put these shows together, and your participation in what you do for your mother, and how long you've been behind the scenes in providing all these great content. But one of y'all great topics that we want to talk about is Aaron Ferreira. He's on the line right now with the ant tool. He's on the line right now. Hey, Mr. Aaron, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, we have Kat is pitching in for her mother right now, and you're on the Invent America show. And I'm going to give Kat a chance to ask you some questions. And Kat, how did y'all hook up with? How did you hook up with Aaron?
I might need Aaron to answer that. I'm not sure. We tend to reach people through different inventor group meetings. We reach people through LinkedIn. We reach people through our Facebook group, Inventors Roundtable. So I'm not exactly sure which avenue we found him.
How did they find
us?
How did they find you, Aaron?
Well, historians are unsure about the exact method about how I heard about Rita, but we crossed paths at some point, or she popped up on my radar. And being an inventor, I don't have a lot of other inventors in my network, especially not when I was getting started. So it seemed like I should reach out to the Inventor Lady and find out, I mean, how does any of this work? What should I do? Like, is what I'm doing right? What should I be doing differently? And she's been a wonderful friend to have in my phone book for when I need to say, I need to ask someone who knows a thing or two about inventions and licensing and marketing your product or your business. So Rita has been fantastic, and I couldn't be happier that we got to cross paths.
Well, and providing you a blueprint, and that's the point, a successful blueprint, eliminating past mistakes. But Aaron Ferreira, your product is the Ant Tool. Tell our listeners what was the brain child behind the Ant Tool.
Absolutely. So I grew up in Northern Indiana working for my dad's lawn service, and he usually had me doing the hardest parts of the job, which, especially in the fall, was laying a tarp down, filling it up with leaves that get really heavy and nasty when they're wet, and then dragging this thing backwards by the corners. So after doing this enough times, probably a couple of years working for my dad, there was one instance where it was like winter was setting in. We're at a cemetery, and there's so many leaves, and I just thought there's got to be a better way. So I went into the truck, got some old bootlaces, tied them through the grommets of the tarp, and leaned into it like a strap. And I'm like, hey, this is a lot easier. I can stand up, use some leverage. And over the years, that's turned into what is now a finished product ready for everyone to use. And that's the Ant, aka the apparatus for navigating tarps.
Wow. Now, is the product being distributed now, or where are you at in the process right now is what I need to know.
Yeah, so I'm 3 years into my entrepreneurial journey, and I've been selling on my website, on Amazon. I go to trade shows. I talk to anybody about it who will let me. So sorry, you guys are getting your ears talked off because you asked the questions, to be fair. But I'm selling pretty much everywhere I can. I've had a little bit of success getting onto Lowe's.com and starting the conversation with the lawn and garden merchant at Rural King. But I am still hunting for my lightning strike to turn this into a product that's selling 10 or 20,000 a year versus what I can do. A guy who pretty much doesn't know what he's doing. I'm doing anywhere from 500 to 1,000, hopefully 2 or 5,000 next year.
Now, what's next though? Where you want to take this? I mean, because you can go in different avenues: licensing, distribution yourself. Do you have other brainchilds and that you're thinking about? So where are you at right now? What's next?
Yeah, well, I think we all have ideas, and I want to see this one become successful before I get to work on the next one. My dad says if you can't sell the ant, you can't sell anything. So I don't know if he's right or wrong, but I've kind of taken that as guidance. And I do have more ideas, and I've always preferred to venture this idea in the company myself. I've certainly encountered obstacles that I could not have possibly foreseen. I think that's probably a reality check that everyone who does this gets, is that, in the beginning we thought you make it and you put it out there and people buy it. Okay, well, there's 1,000 things beneath that umbrella that need to be done and or go right. And of course, a sprinkle of luck has to happen every step of the way for things to actually take off. So I'm open to licensing if someone can grow it more quickly and more efficiently than I can, while still maintaining kind of my company values of like a high quality, heavy duty product that's going to hold up to commercial use, providing good customer service, all things that I think we try to do and I want to see happen. But I don't know. I'm ready to grow, ready for explosive growth, and trying to figure out how to get there. I don't know if it's licensing. I don't know if there'll be a TV ad where that sells 10,000 in a day, and I have to pull my hair out and go, how do I make them?
Yeah. Aaron, we have to run. Thank you again.
Sure.
Aaron Ferreira, the Ant Tool. Thank you for sharing your story. You can check you out at the Inventor Lady. Go to the website. You're going to be listed right there. All right, my buddy. Thank you. And God bless to you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, Michael.
All right, we're going to have to take a short break. We're going to be back right here with David Chaney. We're going to be talking about the BetterGrip Paint Roller with Miss Kat Crompton herself, Kat herself. I'm going to be right back. Yay! Welcome back to the Invent America show. I am the host of HomeTalkUSA, King Broadcasting, the Canadian contractor Michael King. As you know, the Inventor Lady herself, she's dealing with some serious problems of this hurricane aftermath. So I'm kind of pitching in for her with all our guests. But don't forget, this segment of the show, though, is sponsored by Summit Chemical. Summit, the maker of the mosquito dunks and mosquito bit, the most effective mosquito control solutions on the market today, summitchemical.com. All right, Kat, we got another guest here. His name is David Chaney. It's BetterGrip Paint Roller, and I understand he's with us right now. Hey, Mr. David, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Michael. Thank you.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit about our listeners about the BetterGrip Paint Roller and what was the brainchild behind that?
So basically, it's a roller that was designed by do-it-yourselfers for do-it-yourselfers. It basically addresses all the issues that average people experience when they use a traditional wireframe roller. It's lightweight, it's durable, and it's extremely versatile. It allows painters to hold the frame with a natural hand position, with an extension handle, with an extension pole. It attaches on both sides of the roller cover, so you're able to apply equal pressure, which eliminates probably the most frustrating thing for average painters, which is when that wireframe flexes, leaving a thin paint trail on one side and a heavy paint trail on the other side. We have accessories that allow you to customize the roller to fit the individual needs of each project. For cleanup, you simply unscrew one arm, tilt the frame sideways, most covers fall off, hands free. No more struggling to get that used cover off of the frame. So I was a teacher, Michael, for 25 years. When COVID hit in 2020, everything shut down. We went virtual. Well, as a PE teacher, I didn't have that daily interaction with my students. So it gave me an opportunity to take care of projects around the house, which included painting the pool deck in the backyard. Basically ran to the store, got a paint roller, an extension pole, got busy painting. Wasn't long before I was getting frustrated, took the roller off of the pole, painted the rest of the deck by hand. I thought to myself, there has to be a better way. And that was kind of the inspiration for our BetterGrip Paint Roller.
Well, that's an amazing story, because my question was, are you a painter? I mean, that's kind of amazing, because you didn't wake up one day and says, I'm gonna invent the BetterGrip Paint Roller. No, you had a do-it-yourselfer, a honeydew house thing, and you had you wanted to find a better way, and there just wasn't nothing available. So you said, hey, I got a little time, and you put it together. What was the process? I mean, how did the Inventor Lady help you out, though? That's what I need to know, because evidently she must have helped you out a little bit and gave you a good little, blueprint to take it.
So basically, what they don't tell you is that coming up with the idea is the easy part, and of course taking that idea, bringing it to life, and ultimately, building a successful business is definitely the difficult part. So, to have resources that we can fall back on, just like Aaron mentioned in the previous segment, we're flying blind, and we have this false sense that, we create this product, we bring it to market, and all of a sudden everybody's going to be out there buying it. And unfortunately, that's just not the case. And from meeting people like Rita and other inventors, you quickly learn that a majority of the people are in the same boat as us. So any type of resource that you can get, helpful hand to kind of help guide you through the whole process, definitely goes a long way. So very grateful.
Well, good. And now, what was the necessity that really led, though? You explained about BetterGrip Paint Roller, but again, the necessity that really led to it, because, it's one thing to, first of all, you have to think it. You got to have that idea in your head. Then you have to put it on a piece of paper. Then after you put it on a piece of paper, then you have that serious decision to make, because you're getting ready to make a serious financial investment, because you have to go to that third phase. And now that phase is you have to do a teletype product. You got to, get your family together and say, wow, I'm about to make an investment of my life and not even know if it's going to pay off. That is a real decision you have to make. And what made you take it to that third level?
A lot of support from the family. It's funny because the day that I realized there has to be a better way, I ran back to the hardware store. I picked up 2 3-inch rollers, came back, bent the frame, took an old closet rod, cut it, drilled holes in it, glued it together. The next day I woke up like a kid on Christmas morning. I run into the room, I pick it up, and I start rolling it up and down the wall. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is so much better than that roller I used yesterday. And it was at that point that I realized, we were on to something. But like I said, it is a long journey. I kind of shelved it for a while, worked some other jobs, and then I just circled back to it again. And I used I thought to myself, this is something that I really feel like will benefit do-it-yourselfers, average people like myself that don't necessarily like to paint and get frustrated painting. So we, like I said, through the support of my family, we ended up attending the National Hardware Show in Las Vegas. We were selected as one of the most outstanding innovative products, and then we came back, we finalized our product, tweaked it, tested it, and then we finally felt comfortable taking that leap of faith that you were talking about. I invested a majority of my life savings into this. So we do have a lot invested, and like I said, we're very happy with where we're at right now. We're actually about to send out a large order to New Zealand. Wow. So we're actually getting traction not only in the United States, but also globally. So it is kind of exciting, but it's not for the faint of heart.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned exporting, and I'm going to be doing some shows about exporting, and that's the key to America's success, is when we can produce products not only here in the United States, but have expert products where countries is willing to take our products and technologies. Sure. And that is an amazing thing right there, because you don't have to just be successful in the U.S. You can be successful globally, and because your product is not just limited here in the United States, is what I'm saying.
That's correct.
And yeah.
And that was the conversation that my wife and I had. We actually filed for patents worldwide because, just like you hit on, we feel like people paint, whether you're in Asia, Africa, Europe, Mexico, wherever, people paint everywhere. So it's such a unique product, an outside of the box idea that, like I said, there's thousands of rollers out there. They're all basically a wire frame.
Yeah.
Our roller is so unique and different. And like I said, it does truly address all of the issues that average people experience when they use other rollers.
Yeah. Do it yourself, a professional painter. It really doesn't matter, what you're going to get a quality job. You can get an amateur that's going to do a professional paint job. And once the professional painter gets wind of your technology, make it easy for them. Because to a painting contractor, time is money. And if you have a way to save them time and get a professional paint job, it's just a recipe for success. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, my buddy, thank you so much. Let me ask you this, Kat. Do you know David's company? Are you familiar with what he'd done?
Huh? I'm not.
You're not?
I wasn't, but it's interesting that both of them use pretty much the exact same phrasing, that they said they went and they looked for something and it wasn't there. And so that truly is what becomes why they refer to it being necessity is the mother of invention, because it is so often you need something and nothing exists and you end up inventing it because there's a need.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, David, we're out of time.
Michael,
yeah.
We hear that from our customers all the time. We hear things like game changers, so smart. Why didn't someone think of this sooner? And so, the fact that nowadays there are so many inventions, things that, have already been invented, and when you find something like this, it's just a natural transition to give it a try so it can benefit everyone.
Well, my buddy, we're out of time. We want to thank you for being our guest and sharing your story. And I know the Inventor Lady herself couldn't be here, but hey, great story. And we know we're going to probably get you back on in the future. We could check you out through the Invent America website. Thank you, my friend, for being our guest.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Kat,
all right.
Prayers are going her way.
All right. All right. We're going to take a short break right here. This is the Invent America show. I am the Cajun contractor filling in for the Inventor Lady herself, along with Kat Crompton, her daughter. We're going to be back with another guest, another topic right here. Yay! welcome back to the Invent America show. Don't forget, this segment of the show is sponsored by Trimmer Slab. Need to replace rotten or missing wood found in driveways and sidewalks? Installed incredibly fast, looks good, and can be removed. It's trimmerslab.com. All right, for all of you, welcome to the show. That's right, I'm not the Inventor Lady herself. I'm the Cajun contractor, Michael King, filling in for the Inventor Lady herself. But we do have her daughter, Miss Kat Crompton's on the line right now, helping us out a little bit. And Kat, what do you do for your mother behind the scenes, though? Because I met you a couple of times at the trade show, and you kind of like keep the wheels greased up, I guess, huh?
I do. I'm actually in charge of a lot of the outreach and networking that we do in order to kind of keep expanding her network and continuously bring new inventors into the fold for either the radio show, to attend the Inventors Roundtable meetings, and to attend the trade shows that we go to. So I'm always there on LinkedIn, on Facebook, anything, Instagram that I can think of to try and get the word out there. Because what we really want to do is just be a resource for inventors. We want to offer them quality information. We want to be pretty transparent with them, tell them this is a good idea, this is a bad idea, and these are the steps you need to make to even get to market, because it is not for the faint of heart. So we like to give them, different options for vendors, and give them a venue that they can come and talk to other inventors, because sometimes the best information you get is from other inventors that have been in the trenches. They know what not to do. Believe me, they've made the mistakes. All
right. Well, I'll tell you, you have one of your mother's creations, I guess, on the line right now. I'll find out in a minute. His name is Kevin Cody, founder of FLI Products. Mr. Kevin, how you doing, buddy?
Okay, sir. How are you? Thanks for having me today.
All right, my buddy. Well, tell us a little bit about FLI Products. I've heard you got a lot of stories. You probably could do 3 hours by yourself. And how often do you hear that the necessity drove the development? I mean, can you go about 9 minutes and then I won't have to come back on?
Well, I could probably cite 15 different examples of products that we have brought to market over the years that were absolutely created out of necessity. One of the products is called a cord safe, for instance. And, when you're on a job site and you're stumbling around with extension cords and power tools, oftentimes you just don't want to have to ever take your focus off of safety in the work. Yeah. And one of the important things is keeping those connections live and secured. And so this cord safe, for instance, and this is just an example, is a product that keeps two cords connected, and it's also got a water resistant feature to it. So the idea here is that you don't want to stumble around on the job site and disconnect your power. Those are sorts of things that, people have found methods for getting around for years. Yeah. They're job site workarounds. And those are the sorts of things that we look for all the time. And they're unique solutions, whether we develop them with an injection mold company, for instance, that we have a small cadre of, or we do it through other inventors themselves and bring it to market. That's what we end up doing.
Wow. And I tell you, it seems just by talking with you, you're not just necessarily looking for a look product or a product that is applicable, but you're looking to solve logistic problems also. Yes. The logistics of it. Like you said, but you can have product A that you can do the job, but you have to incorporate product B, or not even a product, but you know what I mean? The logistics of the product to make to do product A. Because
absolutely. Around 2017, we just walked away from a lot of the Chinese products that we made. We're involved with at some point, and said, we're just going to focus our time and attention on U.S. made products. One, it gets it to the shelf faster. I just was speaking with the Walmart buyer the other day about another product that we had, and he was very happy to hear that we were bringing them a made in USA product, because it improves his profit and terms.
Yeah. Don't get into that because I tell you, everybody knows my history about 20, 25 years of doing this and working the trade shows. And, when this all started and the Chinese was coming in the booths with their cameras and stealing intellectual properties. And man, I went on a rampage for like a year. I lost probably 50 radio stations. I lost 15, 20 sponsors because I'm not a yes guy. And I literally said the way it was. Man, and I'm talking to CEOs and I said, you just made the mistake of your life, and you might not like it now, but guess what? They are all under and I'm still on the radio. I'm still here. I'm still here, but I preach the gospel is that how can you let, the lion in the sheep's den? And that's what they done. And that's what was happening, but you made some good points, but hey, we're going to move forward, buddy. What type of products you really look for, though? I mean, you got it in your head and say, hey, does the things dictate to you what you look for? Maybe we need to find something like this or something.
Well, you know what, you were heading in that direction a little bit ago. And the bottom line is we just look for products that have unique solutions.
All right.
And there's a lot of products out on the marketplace that are sort of me toos, but then there are those that provide unique solutions either in and of themselves or they do it in combination with other applications.
Yeah. Well, Cody, we're out of time, my friend. It just flies by. We want to definitely thank you for being our guest, and they can search for you on the Inventor America website, the Inventor Lady. So thank you for being our guest. All right, Kat, we got 20 seconds, man. Give us that website. How can we learn more about the Inventor Lady?
www.inventorlady.com.
All right, got to run. All right, top of the hour, Greg Owens, the Made in America guy himself. Yahoo!